Hey guys, it's Raya, coming at you with another video. This time taking a deeper look into the agents we have in Valorant, with all their skills and abilities, what their roles might be in game, and their overall character design. So stick around as we talk about all the agents that have been revealed or leaked so far, and some more information about what's the upcoming plan for them as we get closer to the game release. Starting with, we have a screenshot showing all the character selection screen with the current roster of agents featuring all 9 of them unlocked, so we can see their character portraits. From left to right we have Breach, Brimstone, Cypher, Jet, Omen, Phoenix, Sage, Sova and Viper. Now, despite the fact that we only have 9 agents, we have sources confirmed that the game will launch with 10 agents, 5 of them being free and the other 5 being unlockable through a battle pass sort of system, or they can be purchased directly if you don't have the time or patience to grind through a battle pass system. Also, it's a good thing to remember that Valorant is a shooter game, where each agent has a signature passive ability that they can use every round, 2 abilities which they can buy from the buy menu, and their ultimate ability which they can unlock by eliminating other players as well as completing objectives on the map. With that in mind, now let's take a look at each agent individually, what their abilities are and how to use them, starting with Brimstone from the USA. He is the commander of the team. His abilities mainly revolve around him calling in smokes or orbital strikes anywhere on the map while behind cover to set up his team for success. First, let's take a look at Sky Smoke, his signature ability, where you can use your map to call in an orbital deployment smoke screen that obscure enemy vision. You just have to click on a location and hit confirm to launch. Next up, we have the 2 skills that you can buy. Incendiary, which lets you launch a grenade that deploys a damaging field of fire, and Steam Beacon, where you can target a nearby location to give all players rapid fire who stands in it. And lastly we have his ultimate, Orbital Strike, where you can target any location on the map to launch a devastating orbital strike that pulses high amount of damage for several seconds. I can see this being a really great tool to defend a bomb site against an enemy take or secure a key location on the map. Next up we have Phoenix from the UK, who can harness the power of fire for both destructive and healing purposes. His signature ability is Curveball, which lets him cast a curving flame that bursts into brilliant light after a brief delay, blinding all enemies in the area. The abilities he can buy are Hot Hands and Blaze. Starting with Hot Hands, he can throw a fireball that explodes after a delay or upon impact with the ground. This fire zone damages enemies and also heals him, while his other ability Blaze lets you cast out a flame wall that locks enemy vision while damaging anyone who passes through it. His ultimate is Run It Back, where you mark your current location, and if you die during the ability's duration or when it expires, you will be reborn at the marked location with full health. This is a great tool to take on more risky situations, where you can safely outplay your opponent without the risk of dying. Coming up next is Cypher from Morocco, who has a number of traps and high-tech grenades to snare his enemies, trap wires to daze them, spy cams that fire darts, and the ability to find out the location of all enemies. Starting with his signature ability Spy Cam, where he places a remote camera on the map and can see through it to look for enemies, and when he sees someone, he can fire a dart at them to track their movement. His other abilities are Trapwire, which places a stealth tripwire between 2 walls. Triggering enemies are restrained and revealed for a short time, and if they don't manage to destroy the trap, Cypher can activate it to daze the trapped enemy as well. And Cyber Cage, which you can throw out multiples of and can reactivate anytime to create a cage which throws enemies who pass through it. His ultimate is Neural Theft, which extracts information from the corpse of an enemy to reveal the location of all other enemies, which is a huge advantage for all your allies if used at the right time. Next up we have Omen, the mysterious shadow assassin who renders enemies blind, teleports across the map to ambush them, and seeds paranoia across the entire enemy team. His signature ability is Dark Cover, which sends out a stealthed ethereal orb that bursts into an obscuring fear at its final location. His 2 purchasable abilities are Shadow Walk, where he dematerializes and teleports short distance, and Paranoia, which sends out an ethereal shadow that causes near sight to anyone who touches it. Finally is Ultimate, from the Shadows. You can select anywhere on the map to teleport and reform at the location. When you arrive, you appear as a shade that will go back to your original location if killed. If not, and the teleport is complete, you become incorporeal for a short time, which I assume makes you harder to hit, but regardless, this is a big one. Making yourself appear anywhere on the map is the ultimate ambushing tool any player can dream about. Up next is Sage from China, who is the ultimate support in the game, with her heals, slow orbs, and resurrect ability to give every advantage to your team. Her signature ability is Healing Orb, where she can heal an ally or herself to full health over a few seconds. Her two purchasable abilities are Barrier Orb, which lets her conjure a large solid wall, which can be destroyed by focus fire, and Slow Orb, which lets her cast out a radiant orb that breaks into a slowing field upon impact with the ground. It slows and grounds enemies who are caught in it, and enemies also make noise while moving through it. Her ultimate is Resurrection, which lets her target a friendly corpse and after a short delay, revive them at full health. This can be game-changing if used correctly, and I'm sure we will see many rounds get decided just based on this ability alone. Next up is Breach, who we know the least at the moment, but multiple sources confirmed that during the playtest, he was the most overpowered agent in the game. The name of his abilities are Aftershock, Flashpoint, Fault Line, and his ultimate is Rolling Thunder. Now we don't know much about Aftershock or Rolling Thunder, but Flashpoint is a standard flashbang style throwing ability that blinds enemies for a short time, and Fault Line is a stun grenade of sorts that slows enemies. To me, his kit seems like he's about to go in fast, kill someone who is either blinded or slowed, and get out quickly, with Aftershock maybe being able to leave some sort of ground effect that prevents enemies from chasing you, and Rolling Thunder being some sort of AoE, to capture bomb sites or wipe out entire enemy teams. Up next is Sova, a Russian-born scout who is armed with a bow and multiple arrows that let him fire explosive bolts at enemies or sonar bolts around corners to revert the position of anyone hiding around them. First, his signature ability is Recon Bolt, which lets him fire an arrow that emits a sonar ping, which tags nearby enemies, causing them to be revealed for your team. His purchasable abilities are Shock Bolt, which lets you fire an explosive bolt at enemies that deals damage on impact, and Owl Drone, which lets you deploy a pilotable drone to fire darts at enemies that reveals anyone who is hit by it. His ultimate is Hunter's Fury, which lets him fire up to 3 deadly energy blasts that travel across the entire map. Enemies hit by it take heavy damage and are marked. His kit seems like an improved Hanzo from Overwatch, which I think many people will enjoy playing. Next up is Viper, who is from the USA as well, next to Brimstone, but her abilities focus around poisons and toxins to create space for her team and obscure enemy vision. Starting with her signature ability, we have Toxic Screen, which allows her to deploy a long line of gas emitters that she can reactivate to create a tall wall of toxic gas. Her two purchasable abilities are Snakebite, which lets her fire a projectile that explodes into a pool of acid, and Poison Cloud, which she can throw out to create a poisonous smoke cloud to hinder enemy vision, as well as to damage anyone who is inside it. Her ultimate is Viper Spit, where she emits a massive toxic cloud covering a large area that lasts as long as she is inside it. Enemies are highlighted to Viper inside the cloud, so this makes it a great tool to defend your spike plant from the enemy team. Lastly, we have Jet from Korea, with one of my favorite kits in the entire game at the moment, due to the mobility she has with her dashes and jumps, so she can get to places few other agents can. Her signature ability is Tailwind, which lets her immediately dash a short distance in the direction she is moving. Her purchasable abilities are Updraft, which propels her upwards, and Cloudburst, which lets her throw out a cloud of fog to obscure vision and impact, and she can bend the cloud's trajectory as it travels to curve it around corners. Her ultimate is Bladestorm, where she arms herself with 5 deadly throwing knives that deal moderate damage but kill on headshots, and she restores all daggers when she kills an enemy. I can't wait to see what pros can do with this ability to secure kills and kill enemy after enemy until the entire enemy team is dead. But this is it for me for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, as well as ring the notification bell so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. And see you in the next one.